we are. There we go. Let's move it a little further down. Entrepreneur, welcome to a special impromptu episode of the Apptrepreneur Show. There's obviously no co-host today. It is just me, and because of the weather, stinking heat wave weather, there's two. Well, first of all, because of the weather, I might not be wearing this very long right now. It's for show. In 30 minutes, let's see if I can still wear it. I'm also going to be staying well hydrated during this episode, so forgive me if there are a few more sips of the water than usual. Mm, that tastes good. And by the way, also, everyone, let me know if you can hear me or not. I'm pretty sure this is working, but testing out a new microphone. So anyway, we've got two topics today. One involving Uber, one involving Amazon. We're obviously going to talk about the Amazon one first because the Uber topic is the one you all want to hear. So obviously, I want you to stick around longer, and that's what we're going to do. Secondly, I kind of wish I did have someone to talk about this with. Maybe it'll come up in another round the table. Who knows? But for now, it's just going to be my thoughts. Although before we actually get into those thoughts, some of you do follow me on Instagram. I don't post on Instagram that much. Anyway, it's just, you know, it's funny. I'm actually kind of camera shy. I know, YouTuber who's camera shy. I've heard that joke, believe me. But I really don't like taking pictures of myself and putting it on Instagram. So Instagram is something that I don't use very much, but I decided fairly recently to upload a video of my pet chinchilla Perry. The reason I did it was because that was the last video I took of the guy. Unfortunately, little buddy passed away a few nights ago, and we're broken up about it now. Obviously, people weren't fooled. They totally understood why that was up. And so some of you expressed condolences, and I want to say thank you so much for those condolences. Really means a lot to us. You know, pets are a funny thing, whether they be a dog or a cat or a chinchilla or a gerbil. People still have goldfish for pets. They probably do. You know, you buy these pets, they really don't do much. They just eat and demand your time. Sometimes they even require quite a bit of money to keep them healthy. And yet they kind of have they sneak into your heart and become part of your family. And then when you lose that pet, it's it's a very strange feeling. It's almost like they're destined to break your heart. And it's kind of how feels this way. Obviously, we're going to move on. We will get another pet chinchilla at some point, but you know, for now, uh, Perry's going to be a big loss. He was just such a fun guy, and everyone loved him. But I also know many of you have not seen any of my Perry videos, so I might do a little tribute video later on down the week. Who knows? Just to make me feel better, and then you can see what a fun guy he could be. In the meantime, let's talk about the topics today. And the first topic we're going to talk about is oh, by the way, thank you. Who was just there? Maurice, thank you for letting me know that the sound is great. I really appreciate that. So the first thing I want to talk about is Amazon. Now, I have bagged on Amazon for pretty much every conceivable thing you can think of. It's funny how I'm known as the Uber hating guy. Truthfully, I hate Amazon way more than I hate Uber. Well, way more might be a strong word, but you know, I said over and over again throughout the years when someone said, "Hey, Apptrepreneur, if one company could survive, which would it be? Uber or Amazon?" Oh, there's no question. I would take Uber over Amazon any day of the week. At least Uber pretends and pretends in sometimes credible ways through, you know, free rides to get vaccines and bonuses that they care about me. I know they're completely being dishonest, and I know they don't really care about me, but it kind of feels like they do sometimes. But not Amazon. Amazon does not even pretend to care about you. And if you work for there and there's a fellow Uber tuber who has taken on a job at an Amazon warehouse, and to that person, I wish you the best of luck. Please consider getting another job as soon as possible. possible because the reports of people who have lifelong back injuries after just a few years working there is astronomically high. And Amazon's warehouses are known as the US equivalent of sweatshops. People go there, they work like crazy, they get paid very little, and it's super demanding. Heck, they have a point system. I mean, some of you probably have worked a job where you get points for calling out sick. And the basic premise of the point system is that you are allowed to call out sick a certain number of times, and depending on how close together you get those points and how many you get will determine whether or not you get written disciplinary action or even termination. It's a very fair system. Amazon has a system too. However, where most companies will give you somewhere between 15 to 30 points to play around with, Amazon will give you 3. If you call out sick, it's, I think, a point and a half. So basically, you're allowed to get sick twice a year. Not exactly a caring company. Well, the question that I've always wondered, though, is why on earth is Amazon built this way? Why are their warehouses built this way? Now, I said that facetiously. I know that Jeff Bezos is the reason that Amazon is the way it is. He built that company, he runs that company, he will finally step down as CEO, but he will still have a huge control over that company even when the new CEO takes his place. Personally, I think Bezos is leaving Amazon basically to avoid being in the firing chair, aka being questioned by Congress, when Congress finally forces them to break up. Thank you, Robin. I totally appreciate that comment. Well, a new article from Business Insider is actually going to shed some light into why the Amazon warehouses are designed the way they are. The article is titled Amazon tracks warehouse workers every move because Jeff Bezos thinks people are inherently lazy, says a report. So let's look at this report. So, many of Amazon's policies were designed to prevent workers from becoming lazy, a former vice president told the New York Times. David Niekirk, who helped design the company's warehouse management system, told the publication that founder Jeff Bezos' belief that people are inherently lazy helped shape the company's policies. Bezos believed that workers' desire to perform well decreased over time and that an entrenched workforce was, quote, a march to mediocrity. What he would say is that our nature as humans is to expend as little energy as possible to get what we want or need. This is not true, I don't believe. Now, granted, you do have grifters out there, you do have scammers, you do have. And look, I totally believe work smarter, not harder. I don't think there's anything wrong with that philosophy. That's basically saying, hey, look, I'm going to do the same amount of work, but I'm going to do it in a way that is not as taxing to me. And maybe it requires a little less effort, not because I'm lazy, but because I see no reason to do this any harder than it has to be. Like, why would you purposefully work harder? Well, in Bezos' mind, you would purposefully work harder because to do it smarter would mean you are lazy. And yet, this guy sits behind a desk all day barking orders. It's like that Toy Story 3 joke where they look to the pig and he's sitting there reading newspaper. It's like, well, what are you doing today, sir? And he's like, hey, I'm supervising. That's what Jeff Bezos does. Anyway, he pointed to a short-term employment model that doesn't provide employees many opportunities for advancement and to the way Amazon used technology to keep workers on task. Amazon doesn't guarantee wage increases after a worker's first 3 years, the report said, which, by the way, again, I pointed out, after 3 years, you are likely to have some major back problems that you will have for the rest of your life. It is by far the highest risk, lowest reward paying job in the world right now. And that's put under other titles such as cops and person who has to help with, I'm not going to say, just, I don't want to offend anyone, but, like people who clean out the sewers and have to deal with the alligators, which I know might not actually be there, but I'm just saying, they have a better reward than if you work at an Amazon warehouse. Anyway, the practices that Niekirk described are some of the company's most contentious, like firing employees for a single day of low productivity and continually keeping workers on task with limited break time and high productivity goals, which results in a lot of those employees, well, doing their business in a Mountain Dew bottle. So, an employee who wrote on a warehouse internal feedback board last year wrote, "We are human beings. We are not tools used to reach their daily/weekly goal rates." Well, Bezos would definitely disagree with you. He doesn't want that march to mediocrity. And in fact, that's why he wants robots. Robots are consistent. Robots don't complain. Robots don't need those pesky bathroom breaks. But until then, you'll have to do. And what are you going to do? Quit? Obviously, there's more robots out there to get some. Amazon's culture and high expectations for employees have also made the company a leader in workplace injuries. So, now why am I reporting this? Well, I'm reporting this because, oops, I accidentally kicked that. Sorry. I think it's just once in a while worth reminding people just exactly how terrible this company is. And remember, this is something that we all buy from, not me. I think my wife buys the lounge flies. I've tried to convince her to buy them other places, but you know what? She wants to do that. I don't buy my stuff from Amazon. So, I thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. I think once in a while it's just worth. We seem to be having connection problems. We'll see how much longer I can do this. I've been having troubles with the internet all day for some reason. It's just worth reminding people that Amazon does these things once in a that they just don't care and that we support them. But also because Amazon disregarding people like they were yesterday's newspaper has resulted in Amazon actually having a hard time finding employees. Now, granted, the labor shortage of 2021 is a real thing. Pandemic came, shut everything down, and people had to start getting smart about where they were working. Now, yes, some people are technically abusing the unemployment benefits, which will be expiring soon. However, many people simply decide to get new careers. Uber, by the way, found themselves unable to get a lot of drivers back because people had simply found better jobs. They finally took advice that people like me had been giving out and saying, go find work that pays you well. Go find a career that offers some stability and benefits. And they never came back. Amazon employees kind of did the same thing, especially since Amazon was routinely firing people for getting sick during 2020. Imagine firing someone during a worldwide health pandemic because they got sick. Amazon totally claimed that they were there for their employees, they're Amazonians, and then they weren't. Well, now that's come back to bite them. Amazon is now finding that, hey, when you are continually firing people and people aren't there for more than a few months at a time, at one point, yeah, you might run out of workers. You just might run out of workers at some point, and that is where Amazon finds themselves now. They are continually paying like the least amount of money that they possibly can. They have taken away perks like stock options and things like that, which stock options might have actually made it worth putting up with Amazon for a couple of years because the Amazon stock just keeps growing and growing and growing. But that's been taken away. They keep taking away, they keep adding pressure on, and all because Jeff Bezos basically thinks people are lazy. The guy who sits behind the desk and barks orders. Yeah, that guy. So Amazon find themselves in a tough situation. And you know what? I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for them. I think it's well justified that they are starting to suffer a little bit, and hopefully it continues. But I would like to know, what do you think about this? Do you think Amazon is getting what they deserve with employees not signing up for them? You know the drill. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and flame responsibly. But here's the thing. You think Amazon is in hot water with their employees? Uber's there to say, hold my drink. You know, on hot days, it's funny. Water tastes so much better on hot days. Anyway, so Uber has another major hiccup. Now, this is actually, I'm kind of getting a sense of deja vu when I talk about this story. You see, a few years ago, Uber launched a program that said that if you paid a one-time fee for the next several, oh, thank you for the super chat, Robin. I really appreciate that. Uh, where was I? Oh yeah, so Uber offered a one-time promotion that said, hey, if you spend $50 for this month or something like that, it was something around that line, you will not be charged any Uber fees for your rides. Now, I made a video and I claimed that you are now officially paying Uber to drive for them. Now, that video got a lot of pushback from several other Uber tours at the time, some of whom I respect and like, others who I respect and like, but they don't like me very much in return, but that's fine. I don't think they're doing Uber anymore. No, it's not the Chicago guy. Don't even bring that up. It's actually someone from San Francisco. But I remember that video got like a lot of pushback because they were saying Uber's not charging people to drive for them. I mean, if you do the math, you are going to make so much more money because those fees really add up. And granted, that was a good point. But I said, how many people who actually would save money from this did they offer this to? I wasn't offered it, and I was an active Uber driver at the time. Uberman wasn't offered it. He was definitely an active Uber driver at the time. Uber only offered that to people who were not driving much, and those people more than likely would not drive enough to make their money back. That's why Uber targeted. Now, I'm assuming that people actually did, for the most part, make their money back because Uber did not offer this again. But now we have a new problem because there is a hiccup in the system, a bug, if you will, where Uber drivers were literally being charged. This isn't even hypothetical. They were being charged money for the rides they were given. I'm going to read this article from the Daily GDP Post. And of course, they are making me answer a survey question to get to the article. So let me just answer this real quick. Live, anything can happen. So here we go. When a Chicago area Uber driver checked his account balance after dropping off a customer at the airport on a Sunday morning in late May, he discovered something he'd never seen before. He was charged $2.20 for giving a 13.5-mile ride. Quote, on my 40-minute ride home, I was thinking about how I just lost money driving somebody, said the driver. Kurt, who asked his last name be withheld for privacy reasons. Well, good thing. They'd probably deactivate you. Oh, thanks, Scott. I really appreciate that. Kurt said he submitted a request to the driver app for a fare review, but the company said his fare was calculated correctly. Now, here's the funny part about this, because Uber did respond to a couple things in this article, and this is one of the things they responded to. They said, Uber told CNN Business this was an automated response set in error, which I think is a whole new problem. Like, really? Someone emails them about a fare problem, and Uber's response is to send an automated response? I'm sorry. I'm just so stunned. Shoot, I was stunned for like a good 20 seconds there. Like that's just one of the stupidest responses I've ever had. It's definitely going to highlight what's wrong with the response to the rest of the story. Anyway, he sent a direct message to Uber support on Twitter, which was met with generic responses. As a last resort, he publicly tweeted out a screenshot of his earnings receipt. Always a good idea if you want to catch Uber's attention, which went viral. Shortly after, someone from Uber support team called him directly to discuss what had happened. Now, Kurt said, all it takes is a tweet to get 1 million impressions. You can get a real person at Uber. They compensate me for the glitch or whatever. It shouldn't even be possible. It should literally never happen. I agree. It literally. Okay. I think we're good again. So, sorry. Are we good, everyone? Can we see it now? I'm gonna assume so. I'm sure if it's not working, you'll let me know. But I see me ringing. So anyway, funny thing. The reason it should not happen, but here's why it probably does happen. The reason it probably happens is because Uber used to be pretty simple math. Fare gets paid, Uber takes 20%. That's it. Simple math. Now you have the upfront pricing fee, in which they can take anywhere from 10% to 90%. It kind of just depends on what day of the week it is, I suppose. I don't know. I have never figured out how this becomes a thing. So, obviously, I believe a bug fare like this happens. But let's see here. How should I put this? So, um, why does this ad keep opening? This is, I'm just going to leave the ad open and put it over there. Okay, sorry for tech. So I can understand why a bug like this would happen. And that's what people don't realize, that it happens because Uber price gouges people. They absolutely do. Now, this has mainly been happening with their new reserve feature. And the reserve feature is where someone can book a ride up to like 30 days in advance. This is where it's mostly happening. But, and I'm actually going to have to go back because it keeps wanting to open up this ad. And even though you can't see it, I can. And I can't work like that, as they say. But it's mainly been happening with the reserve system. And there was even one guy here who reported that he had a fare where he was charged $35.22 to drive someone 43 miles. This is the driver, mind you, not the passenger. For the passenger, yeah, that's low, but what else is new, right? But no, the drivers are now getting charged. Now, do I believe this bug will be fixed? Absolutely. Of course, I think it's going to get fixed. I don't think Uber's going to let this go on forever. But here's the thing. Uber's faced a lot of bad publicity because of the pandemic, from not offering enough PPP protection, for not taking care of drivers themselves during a global pandemic, for basically using bonuses as a way to lure new drivers, not take care of existing ones. And then, of course, that article came out that showed that Uber drivers weren't making any more money. And we started talking about that before, some unexpected stuff happened that cut that live stream short. And where Dar Khosrowshahi basically got on Twitter and had a meltdown and said, no, it's not true. I swear on my mother's life it's not true, even though it obviously is. And now reports that the fares are being charged to the drivers. Now they say it's a bug, shouldn't have happened, but here's the thing. Here's the problem. Here is the big thing to keep in mind. The people who tried to reach out for Uber support got automated responses. Like, a fare being incorrect is a very, very big deal. It's a very big deal for a driver. I mean, this is literally the reason they are driving for Uber, because they want to make money. I think they're doing something wrong if they're driving for Uber trying to make money personally, but they are trying to make money. And you know what? I am not going to begrudge someone if they really feel like this is the best course of action to make money. I'm not going to begrudge them that. I think there's better options out there, of course, though. And for that money to be calculated so badly that the driver ends up not only using his gas, the wear and tear on his vehicle, his time that he will never get back, all for him to be charged his money for the passenger. That's like almost insult to injury. It reminds me of that Family Guy joke where Peter kills his neighbor's cat, kind of by accident, I suppose, and obviously goes to bury the cat, but then he also raids the fridge and steals his neighbor's beer as well. Like he didn't do enough damage, he had to take the guy's beer as well. It's like Uber basically ransoming and pillaging their drivers. Taking them for every cent they're worth. Drivers are already, in a sense, paying to drive for Uber. in multitude of different ways. But now they don't even want to be transparent about it. It's like, hey, suckers, we're charging you money to drive up for us. That passenger you spent, an hour driving and you drove for 43 minutes, we're charging you $35 for that. And then on top of that, no customer service person's going to even look at it. You send a notice that there's something wrong with the fare. Oh, nope, the computer says there's not, so too bad. Hope you're on Twitter. That's the only time we care because, we're like Disney. Kryptonite is, no, bad criticism is our kryptonite. That's the only thing we respond to is bad press. It's amazing. And it kind of makes you wonder, how does a company that is worth billions of dollars have an automated system for the fare? I mean, I know there's automated systems with a lot of companies. They're doing it. It saves money. And basically, you make people jump through hoops before they actually talk to a human being who costs money and might actually be able to do something. But you also do these because you don't want people, complaining about like simple things that they could find out in the FAQs. But when the fare is incorrect, that should never result in an automated response. There should always, always be a person at the end of the line to solve that problem. Now, is that what's going to happen? Obviously not. Uber doesn't care. We all know Uber doesn't care. Like, I mean, it's almost common knowledge now. I remember when driving for Uber used to be cool. Now people look at you like, what, you got no options? So, yep, bottom line, what I had claimed a few years ago and maybe was a little off, has come true. Uber officially is charging people to drive their service. Now, again, maybe the bug will be fixed by the time this live stream is over. By the time you watch this video, this might not be a concern. But I will say, if you want to avoid this potentially happening, the best advice I can give is don't do Uber reserve rides. I don't know if you can tell if they're a reserve ride anymore. I haven't really been on the service for a while, but it seems to be where most of this problem is coming from. But anyway, I'd like to know, what do you think about this and Uber's response to it? By the way, Dark Khosrow, he did not have a Twitter meltdown on this one, but we will certainly talk about it if he does. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, blame responsibly. Hey, if Dar responds on Twitter, do you think he's going to say something along the lines of, even though I knew in my heart that it was not true, that we were not charging drivers to drive for Uber, I called my tech support just to make sure. Do you think he had a response like that? I don't know. That'd be funny. So I've got a few comments. We're not going to be spending a whole lot of time on comments because you might have noticed I'm outside and I'm in California, and California is kind of being baked. In fact, Teddy, I know you love me. You don't have to be out here, buddy. You don't have to be out here. I don't know if you can see, but our dog, like, buddy, go inside. Go inside. I think he's not going inside because I'm out here, so we have to make this quick so I can take the dog in. But anyway, let's see. Can we scroll down? Let's see here. So first of all, everyone who gave me condolences on Perry, thank you so much. Yeah, that, like I said, rough week for us. Steve was here. Thank you for being here. So was Calvin. With Uber, I feel violated. Uberman Tampa, you know how the game is. You have to email them 50 times before an actual human answers. Yeah, and let's see. He also says, they calculate the reserve fare and then adjust it as price. That's messed up. Drivers are already paying more than they earn. This shouldn't happen. No, it shouldn't. But honestly, I think because drivers don't quit and they continue to drive for them anyway, I think that's why it continues to happen. Robin says, what's a split fare fee? I never saw this one on an individual fare after the ride, but it showed in my annual summary report from Uber. I don't know what that is either, but I'm going to look into it. Uber in Tampa says he says a split fare is usually Uber pool or a customer splitting the fare among each other. I'm not getting charged, but if I do the north end of the car, I'll be pointing to the south end of their door. So, okay. Thank you all for the comments. We have reached 30 minutes, got 2 topics out of the deal. And well, I stayed hydrated. I was shaded. I think I did this correctly. You know, there's right now there's a lot of people at the house, so just, you know, like I said, one of those weeks. But anyway, I would like to see you all here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do and smash that like button and ring the bell for notifications. And playing responsibly, I will see you all later.